Welcome everybody to Season 6, Round 6 for NRL, here for the United States Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas. I'm Scavni720, joined alongside me with Dace today. Dace, how are you doing so far today?
Pretty good, ready for the race.
Good, yeah, great. Yep, it should be a fun one tonight. Looks like a full grid of drivers, and we're just getting everything all set for the round of qualifying. Looks to be a fun one tonight. Taking a look at the championship standings real quick. ERT Samba currently leads the way, Steinzap second, and Honzi in third. Looks like we have our first drivers heading out onto the track now. That is going to be a standing 497 for Red Bull. He's going out on the medium tires already, which not really too surprised to see everybody at least getting that initial run underway. What do you think we're going to expect to see tonight, Dace?
Sorry, repeat that one more time?
Sure, no problem. What do you think we'll expect to see from tonight's race?
I expect to see a good battle at the front. I know Honzi, do we have Kalarab with us today? Honzi,
yes.
Kalarab, and Kachow will probably mix it up at the front.
Exactly. Certainly some names to watch right there. Looks to be a pretty deep field. Definitely going to be competitive. Another thing...
I did miss Henry. Henry and Stein are both rapid, so they'll also be up there.
Alright, definitely going to have a lot of contenders for tonight's race. Looks to be not sunny skies, but definitely clear for this qualifying session. We'll have to see if it stays that way for the race. We could definitely throw a spanner in the works here from Circuit of the Americas. It's a very difficult track, technical to get right, and could provide a challenge for these guys tonight. Especially those S section in the opening start of the lap. Then coming through the final couple of corners, very difficult to keep it within track limits. Another thing to keep an eye on tonight. Looks like our first hot lap will be a standing 497 once again in the Red Bull. Dace, why don't you take us for a lap around the Circuit of the Americas?
Alright, we are heading onto the front straight now. Straight up to 8th gear. Brake right about the 100-meter board here in turn 1. Get it real nice and tight into first gear, second gear. You want to get a great exit out here. This next one will be flat. You want to try to stay on the gas as long as you can without lifting in these S's. Ooh. And that looks like a setup problem right there.
A bit of a mistake through there. Looks like he might have backed off his lap. Let's take a look. Try to find the next runner. I believe that might be the Ferrari diagonal. He's also off the road. We've got Calces in AlphaTauri. Looks like he's pushing through Sector 1, so we can continue.
Heading through the S's. Let's hope we can get the Red Bull out of the way here. Ooh, that might be a little bit of blocking there. We're going to try to get to the... Sorry, I got thrown off.
No worries.
Yeah. Here we go on to the back straight here. We have a lot of guys running 11 wings today, so I think we'll have a few guys really not focusing on the speed trap. We're going to go down into this straight, down to 3rd gear. Good exit on the way out. You're going to hold 4th gear on the way here. Oop. Nope. I guess not. Ooh, really bad exit.
Looking like a fairly solid end to the lap from Calces. We did see standing crib finish out that lap of 41.0 on the mediums. Definitely some room to improve there. Calces goes with a 31.6, so that was a solid opening banker. Looks like Kachow going second at 32.1. I think Thomas is starting a lap before Red Bull as well. Hervina out of the final corner, going third fastest at 33.2. Looks like the Ferrari of Diagonal is next, but he's invalidated, so he's going to have to go again. Stuart Little for Alfa Romeo, going third at 32.8. So it's all lap right there as all the first runs starting to come to a close. That's Donnelly going second fastest for McLaren. Tally Rob.
And we do have a weather update. It looks like there will be, towards the end of the race, it looks like we might get some rain.
That'll be interesting. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Weird TV, he's invalidated his lap, so he'll be forced to go again. Looks like that's Hansi putting in an opening lap. Not the best, but definitely something to improve. But certainly with that rain forecasted at the end of the race, how do you think that's going to affect the strategy of these guys tonight?
It might depend on if we get any safety cars at the beginning or middle. From what I gather, it's about 45 minutes into the race, so if all goes smoothly, it could, we could not see any inters, with the track not being as wet.
Yeah, for sure. 45 minutes, that definitely is right on the edge, so it will be something to keep an eye on. Especially if it starts to come down towards the end, that could make an interesting decision for these guys.
It could. We might see a Russia and Lando Norris situation where some guys might want to play chicken if they want to go to the inters.
Yeah, hopefully not for those guys, but it's definitely going to make things interesting for us.
And we have a ERT Samba on a lap here. So far this season, he's pretty much dominated, so we'll see what he can do on these mediums.
Yeah, I like thinking for that medium strategy, so possibly trying to qualify in the top 10. I mean, the reverse strategy is definitely an option around here as he invalidates that lap. But
usually, from what I gather on quali, the mediums are a bit too far off to make it into the top 10.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenging thing to do, but I wouldn't be surprised if some people try to go for it. Looks like a lot of invalidations.
Ooh, and he loses it around the triple right-hander.
Yeah, it's a very difficult corner to get right.
You can get out of the way. Oh, there's no one coming, so we'll be fine.
Yeah, luckily to have a bit of cleared track there, but those tires are not going to be too happy about that.
We might have an incident with Tom Goproff and Kachow. A little blocking action.
It looks like there's a bit of a cluster of cars going down the back straight there. Not quite sure what exactly transpired there, but we'll have to see if Tom is finishing out this lap. Seems to still be taking these corners fairly quickly, but he is going to duck back into the pits. So we're not going to finish out that lap. Looks like we have an Aston Martin of Yurdi about to start a lap, as well as that's Diagonal, who's heading into the pits. Standing as invalidated once again, so we'll go along board with Yurdi for Aston Martin as he starts his flying lap. Up towards turn 1. It's a very late apex, very difficult to get right, but does very well there. Nice job getting down the traction too. Using up all of the track through the S's, maximizing lap time through them.
Very smooth line.
Exactly, he's gone purple in the first sector. We'll have to see if he can keep it up with the rest of this lap.
Heading down to 11, see if he can get his exit out of here.
It's a very important exit to get right. It sets yourself up for the longest straight on the track and one of the best overtaking spots as well. So we've got quite a few guys on an outlap at the moment, so it's about halfway through the session now, everybody getting set for their second run. Quite a few guys had those invalidations on their first run, so perhaps going to just be trying to get a time on the board here. Zierdi's heading into the final couple of corners of the lap now. Looking to be pretty tidy on this lap. Attacks the apex there at the penultimate corner. Up to the line, let's see where the... Oh, and he's gone right around. Right at the last second. That is unfortunate.
It's a good thing he kept his wing there.
Yeah, very lucky not to DNF, and he actually was able to set a time, but albeit not as quick as he would have liked. Looks like David Chahoud is coming out of the final corner now for the Mercedes. And he goes third fastest, 31.7, so very quick time right there.
Think we could dip into the 30s today?
I'd say it's definitely possible. I mean, we've got only about 4 tenths or so to get back there.
We have yet to see a lap from the ERT boys. They do tend to put in some sweaty times in quality.
I'd imagine we'd see those times continue to drop, so I'd say 30s are definitely reasonable here. Especially with a few drivers left to go. On board with Stewart, but it looks like he's backed off in this lap. He's actually well up on his time, so we'll continue on board.
We do have Samba on a lap as well in Sector 2.
Jump along with him. I believe he is the championship leader, if I am not mistaken.
Yes, he is.
Heading in towards the hairpin once again. Let's see if he takes any of that curb there. That is a curb you can run over a little bit, as Henry does go fastest at 31.1, so already nearing those 1 minute 30s.
See if I can get their sector times up here.
You see somebody's really attacking the curve at turn 12.
Oh, Yurdy.
I was a little bit touch and go right there, but they made it work. Callie Robb jumping up to second with a 31.2. So times are quickly fading here as the grip starts to wear into the track.
I think Samba did run a purple sector 2.
It could be on to challenge Henry at the top of the board. He's just got to keep it clean. Just about within the track limits here.
When you miss that apex right there, it just makes it really hard to not invalidate your lap.
Exactly, it's such a tight corner.
31.1 with Henry at the top.
Yeah, Callie Robb not too far behind.
Close.
So time's starting to drop. Looks like a few guys finishing out their runs. Standing 49.70, switched to the soft tires, heading in towards sector 3 now. Let's take a look at his split. Nearly 8 or just over 7/10 up on his previous best. This could see him jump up into the top 10. We've got one of the Alpha Tauris out of the final corner as well. We'll take a look at the lap time there. And that is Steinzap going to the top with the first driver into the 130. So you called it, Dace.
Wow.
Time's dropping quickly, and there it is.
Yes, I think we have Sam going on a back-to-back lap here. But he's getting low on ERS. I don't know how well this is going to work for him.
His first sector split was over 3/10 up, so definitely could make a dent in his lap time here. But we'll have to see if he can maintain that pace. So we did see standing.
We do have another purple sector 2.
He was, I think the timing split was about 4/10 up, so he could be on board for third or fourth place here. A little bit of a moment there out of on the exit. I think he's recovered well.
The big important setup step for here is you really need a stable rear end. You see a lot of these guys are kind of all over the place with all the quick changes in direction.
Yeah, it's very difficult to get right. Looks like he did duck into the pit, so not quite happy with that lap time. He's got some time to go again. Kachow is invalidated, so his lap is going to be over. Tom is next on the lap. He's into sector 3 now. Currently sitting 15th. He's going to want to see if he can improve on that lap time.
I'm going to switch on to Mark of Kenya here. He is in sector 2. Yet to set a time.
And one of only 4 drivers. Still some time left though, but it's very important to keep it within track limits for at least one of these laps. Tom going up to 13th with a 32.5. And we'll jump with Mark of Kenya now.
He does there's my bad grammar showing. But Mark of Kenya tends to qualify pretty well. And the race is a little touch and go sometimes, but he usually is pretty quick.
Absolutely. We'll have to see what kind of pace he has here. It looks to be a pretty good lap from what I could tell. A little bit of a moment there, but that's a very difficult traction zone to get right anyway. Let's see if he can make it stick through the final couple of corners.
Keeps it valid through 11. That's not 11. My count's forward.
Goes 10th fastest. Decent time right there. Looks like Marigente is just behind him. He's only starting the lap now, as is Yurdi for Aston Martin.
He's a new reserve we've got. I think his first try today.
Yeah, always good to see new reserves making their debuts. It will be interesting to see how he performs tonight. Looks like everybody's getting set for their final runs of the session. Trying to find someone who is on the lap, so we'll go with Merigente. Might be pronouncing that wrong. As I say that, he does invalidate there. So we'll jump with the Aston Martin of Yurdi, who's currently 17th on the grid. We'll have to see how he can improve on this lap. Long back straight. Might be getting a little bit of a tow from the driver ahead. Not too much though as we approach the business end of the session. Just over 2 minutes remaining. There's a sector split, 2.5 tenths up. But of course he did have that spin at the final corner, so he's set to gain a lot of time here. So you can see there's quite a few drivers heading through Sector 1 at the moment.
Oh yeah. Might see a big roadblock in Sector 3 here in a little while.
Yeah, hopefully not, but with the traffic jam, it's definitely a possibility. 33-1 from Yurdi, so definitely improvement. He's got some time to go again if he so chooses.
But personally, at the end of quali, I like to go out just a little earlier, so you kind of miss the bulk of the traffic there.
Yeah, exactly. That's not something you want to be getting yourself involved in. We're on board with Toss the Caber now. He's heading into Sector 3. One of the 3 drivers yet to set a time. He's on a 101.8 through the first 2 sectors. And he's most importantly kept it clean so far. Can anyone challenge Steins up in this final portion of qualifying? 30.9 is the benchmark at the moment. There comes Toss into the final corner. Up to line, it's a 6th fastest run, a 31.6, so that was a good lap right there. We've got Diagonal next for Ferrari. Going up to line, he jumps back up to 5th. It's a good lap right there. We've got Samba about to start a lap. We've got, I believe that's Stuart Little just behind as well to start a lap.
Domi started lap as well.
Yeah, everybody getting their final runs in. Just trying to see if anybody's pushing at the moment in the final sector. Looks like everybody seems to be just getting their lap started, so we'll ride along board with Honesy, who's in Sector 1 at the moment.
Marco Pena retires.
Yeah, I don't think that he had enough time to get another run in, so he'll take his 31.9 and see where that ends him on the grid. Honesy, you mentioned earlier, he's... Ooh,
Honesy.
Oh, that was a nice save right there. Lucky to keep that out of the wall. Unfortunately,
sometimes that curb can just be the stickiest thing.
Yeah, it's very difficult to get right, and that has cost him his run this time. So the session timer has now hit 0. These will be the final runs. We've got Domi Lee into the final sector for McLaren. Although he's 5 tenths down on his previous best, so he's going to look for some improvement there. Samba's just behind. He's once again 7 tenths up, so could be challenging for pole here. Let's see if he can have a strong end of the lap.
This was the corner he had made a mistake on last time. Nails it this time.
Absolutely. That's going to give him quite a solid lap. Let's see what kind of lap time it will be.
And it is great traction out of 20.
30.6. That is going to be provisional pole. Can anyone top that? Stewart goes to 15th fastest. Looks like standing 497 is next across the line.
We have Stein about to finish lap as well.
Up to 5th. Back to Stein. He is marginally close to his previous best. He does improve, but it's not going to be enough. Both Aston Martins at the final corner. Kachow does not improve. Yurdi is next. He cannot improve as well.
I think that's it. Hervina aborts his lap.
And is that going to be it? That will be it for qualifying then. Hervina's the last driver on a valid lap, but he is invalidated. So that is going to be the end of this qualifying session. So that was an exciting qualifying session. Was that about what you expected, Dace, or any surprises there?
That seems about right. It's a pretty typical top 4. Calcis has been reserved throughout this season. He's been making his presence felt there at the front as well. So could be pretty fun for the race.
Absolutely. We're going to take one more look through the qualifying order. It's Samba, Steins up, then it's Henry, Kelly Robb, and standing 497. Cal says is 6th, then it's diagonal toss the Caber, David Chahu, Domi Lee, then it's Mark of Kenya, Honzi, Kachow, Mr. Root, Stuart Little, then it's Mergente, Weird TV, Tom, Hervina, and Yurdi rounding out the grid. So I don't
This
think...
could be a little gamesmanship here from Honzi. He does like to try out his alternate strategies and see where that can get him.
He is in position to do that. Of course, the one stop is the preferred strategy around here at USA. We did see everybody in the top 10 end up on the soft. So do you think we'll see any sort of alternate strategy from the runners outside the top 10?
The two stop isn't too far off of the one stop, so it could be possible. They would just really have to make sure they time that undercut perfectly. From past experience, the two stop is really fast, but just a simple soft hard just keeps you pretty much as far ahead as you need to be.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those where either way it can work. You just got to be smooth and confident with what you've got. And of course, safety cars could always play a factor. And of course, the rain we know is coming towards the end of the session. But for now, perfectly sunny skies over here. Days, going into this race, what's your way too early podium prediction for tonight?
Let me get a look at race director here so I don't forget any names. I'm going to go with Samba with the win, Honzi with P2, and rounding out the podium, I think Cali Rob will, I think him and Honzi will battle it out for P2.
Go for it.
I'm hoping the rest of the field can stay close to Samba and actually make it a fight and make him work for it. So I hope to see a battle for the win.
Absolutely. I think that would be something we would all enjoy, but looks like we're set to go for the formation lap. We'll run through the grid order once again. Of course, the entire top 10 forced to go with those soft tires starting from qualifying. So just on a bit of a slight disadvantage there. But outside the top 10, it's Mark of Kenya who's gone to the mediums, as well as Honzi, as you predicted, with that alternate strategy. Kuchal going with the hards from 13th place. That's a bit interesting, I expect. The hard's not, in my opinion, not the best race tire around here, but can definitely be viable. That's Mr. Root and Stuart Little who have chosen the softs. Mergente has taken the mediums. Weird DV with the softs. Tom also going to the mediums, still sitting on the grid, so not sure if there's a glitch there. That's Hervina and Yurdi rounding out the grid on the softs. So, about what you expected there?
Yeah, we do have some guys in this league that like to take their chances with some alternate strats and see where it can get them. Kachow has tried this before, and it actually worked out pretty well for him. I actually don't mind the hards for this track. They take a couple laps to scuff them and get them into, to where they actually have good pace. But other than that, they're not too bad. For
sure. And the other benefit with the hards, if there's an early safety car and within window of taking the mediums at the end, that would be something that he could benefit from, as opposed to having to go medium to hard or something like that. So
definitely. Because I think the idea to get out do the heavy fuel run with the slower tire, and then once he gets burns that fuel off, and then go with the fastest tire and see if that can make him up some positions.
Absolutely, I think he's definitely in a good position to do that. But the field is coming out of the final corner now and up to the grid. It'll be a Samba versus a Steinzap on the front row. Not the longest.
Can't count Steinzap.
Exactly, he's got the inside line, which is probably going to be the preferred line at the turn one. It's not the longest run, but we can definitely see some moves being made there, especially with how wide the circuit is. So.
We hope everyone makes it through clean turn one.
Absolutely. They do have the Red Bulls still going through the end of Sector 2 at the moment. Hopefully that gets back up to the line soon.
I thought it would disqualify if he was that far behind, but shame on me for believing in Cody's like that.
Absolutely. We're just waiting on the grid now. Hopefully we're about to see the 5 lights turn on for the United States Grand Prix here tonight. As you see, the AI Red Bull has just gone through the penultimate corner, so, and almost back up to the grid.
Somebody cue the Jeopardy music.
Almost there. And it has taken its spot on the grid. We should be about all set to go for the race start here tonight. Hoping to get a better camera angle, but there we go. The grid is in place. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lights. And they're underway here at the United States Grand Prix. A couple jump starts at the back, but it's a good start from Samba ahead. Looks like Callie Robb on the inside already making up a place on Steinzap. And I think he's going to be through, and that's Henry going around the outside. He's going to hold on to P2. The Kachow picking up a drive-through as now Callie Robb into third, and that's standing up to fourth. Steinzap all the way down to fifth as they head through the S's for the first time. Side by side in the midfield, there's a Ferrari off. That's Honesy, and he's out of the session.
Oh no. Early safety car.
It's definitely a possibility. Awesome. We're keeping an eye out. Still green at the moment. Samba leads from Henry and Callie Robb. Steinzap losing a couple positions at the front already. Everything seems fairly clean. Things starting to go single file for the moment. Marco Kenya has lost time as well. That's Hervina trying to go up the inside at the hairpin. I think he's going to have the move done. So a bit of a chaotic start, but things starting to settle down. Like
that just sucks for Kachow. That will throw a giant wrench into your strategy right there.
Especially being on the hards, he's going to have to serve that drive through as quickly as possible and hope for a safety car. Diagonal was getting very close to the back of the AlphaTauri there. He looked for a move into turn 12, but couldn't quite make it stick. David is on the back of Adomi as well, just not quite enough room to find the way through. You can see the car is understeering through the quadruple right-hander. But that is the first lap finished here. Samba is the leader. Callie Robb making up a couple places as well. Steinzap, the big loser, he dropped 3 places off the start there. Kachow does come in to serve his drive-through.
Could see heating up for the ERT boys here at the front.
Yeah, they managed to gap everybody. Now they're almost pulled out of that 1 second gap from Callie Robb. So we'll have to see if they can do that. That would be massive to clear the DRS. Still a little bit of ways to go before that happens though. There goes Domi looking to the outside of diagonal towards turn 11. Can he make it stick? He's going to run a bit wide there. It's going to be a drag race down towards turn 12. The Ferrari gets the better run. Of course, no DRS there. Weird TV making up another place. I believe that 7 places up for the Haasman already, up into 10th place. So everybody's starting to file in line now. I'm just waiting for the DRS to be enabled this lap before they make their moves. So Mr. Woot still, he is the other driver in the field that does have that drive through the serve. He's still hanging on for the moment. Marco Kenya picking up a 3-second time penalty already. Here's David looking to the outside of Domi and the McLaren towards turn 1. Not quite going to have enough. Steinzap, he dropped to 5th on the race start. It's currently just behind standing right now, and these guys have dropped off the DRS of the top 3.
I'm not sure if Callie Robb will get the DRS here. He's just on the edge.
I think he's just about to be within, but he's got to...
yeah, it looks like he's getting it.
He's going to have to keep pushing if he wants to stick up and contain with these guys. He's also going to want to try to separate from the field behind. Looks like he's closing in. Steinzap as well as making a run for 4th place.
And from past experience, I know Henry does run high wing setup, so this could actually be, this could hurt him here if these guys stick within DRS.
Yeah, if that is the case again tonight, Henry's might be want to stick behind and just ride that DRS. You see Steinzap going up the inside and it's standing with a beautiful switchback. And he's trying to go around the outside. That's very difficult to pull off at this section of the track. So Steinzap is up to 4th.
This is not what Steinzap wants, losing the DRS of the top 3 here.
Exactly. That battling right there, we just saw, dropped him another additional
all
second.
the time.
And dropped another second out behind the leaders.
We have Toss getting by Mr. Woot.
Mr. Woot
maybe a little team orders from the Alphas.
Yeah, definitely could be. Mr. Woot was in to serve his drive-through.
Oh, and Veert spins.
Oh, and he's gone to the wall. And he's missing his front right end plates. Lucky not to DNF, but he's going to lose a lot of time. That's an awful long way back to the pit lane from there.
We already have a few safety car hopefuls here.
Yeah, especially with that incident there. You can see the Red Bull of Tom trying to go around the outside. He's going off, and that's a Williams. That is Mergente, who spun at turn 8. He's managed to keep it out of the wall, but he's going to lose quite a bit of time. We do have a pass-through lead. That's Henry into the lead.
And we do have safety car and reduced in this league, so it would have to be a pretty bad crash to pull one out.
For sure. Definitely still a possibility. We've got the McLaren of Domi and Diagonal side by side once again in towards turn 15. Multiple lines you can take through that corner. It looks like the McLaren gets through. It's a very nice racing early on all throughout the field. Don't think Diagonal's going to be close enough to fight back quite yet, but he will have the DRS once they get back to the main straight. Oh, and that's Diagonal has now gone for a spin at the final corner. And he's missing his entire front wing. Once again, another long way to go back to
We
the
did
pit.
miss Henry passing Samba there.
Yeah, he did got by him on the back straight the last time around, but I imagine we might see the DRS swing that back the other way this time by. These three have
We do have Samba a little closer to Calirap here, so...
Yeah, Calirap's done a nice job sticking with these guys, and they've opened up a 2.6 gap to Steinzap now. So they're going to hope to just run away with this field out front at the moment. I don't think Samba's going to quite be close enough to fight back this time. He's going to be forced to sit back in line. There's Yurdi going up the inside of Stuart Little, so Stuart losing out on a couple places there, as I believe Hervina got through. Stuart with that time penalty already. Not going to be exactly what he wanted. This is the battle for 10th at the moment. He already had a little bit of a moment there next to the turn 15, but I think he's going to keep it clean. Stuart Little trying to fight his way back through. See Hervina going a bit deep on the exit. That might put him under pressure from Yurdi, but I don't think he's going to be quite close enough. We'll go back to the battle for 4th. Standing for 970, he's managed to stick with Steinzap, and that has brought Kalsas and the other Alpha Tauri back into this battle. So we're starting to see a few different groups of 3 shaping up at the moment. As I say that, Cali Robbie's now dropped out of the 1 second range of the leaders. That rear wing does not open. It's absolutely crucial. Samba is going to go by Henry for the race lead once again. The other Mercedes of David getting past Domi and the McLaren, so looking very pacey for Mercedes so far. Yurdi and Hervina side by side. Stewart still looking through as well. Mark of Kenya getting up the inside to Tom. Stuart Little and Hervina, that was very close on the exit of turn 15. Stuart had been behind for a while, but he does find a way through.
Now let me check where we are on the penalty situation this far in the race.
Yeah, a couple guys are already getting hit with those penalties. That's not what you want to see, especially if we do get a late safety car.
We have Samba on 1, standing 497 on 1. Looks like basically almost all of our top 5 have at least 1 or 2 wins.
Yeah, that's definitely something that can accumulate a lot around here. Stuart Little, as we say, that picks up another 3-second time penalty. We're back at the front. Henry is closing up to the back of Samba. I don't think he's going to go for it. Thinks better of it. We've also got a 3-way battle heating up for 4th. So already early on in this race, we're seeing lots of position swapping going on down the long back straight, as we expected. Things starting to settle in for the moment now, as the DRS train starting to form. The race start phase has gone past us, and we're now approaching the pit stop window. So we think we'll be only a couple laps away from some soft running pits.
497 going in now.
Yeah, as I was saying.
Let's see what he goes for. I think if he's going for the mediums, then it might be a 2-stop here. We'll see what he comes out on. Yep. Well, looks like he'll be doing a 2-stop. I'm not 100% sure if the mediums can do 20 laps, but with how the softs run, I don't think they can.
Yeah, that would definitely be quite a stretch. I imagine we'd be getting close to that pit stop phase for those soft runners, but I did think that was quite a bit early, so I thought it might be a potential undercut, but that 2-stop is also a good possibility. We'll have to see how the rest plays.
The undercut is pretty powerful here, so I mean, 1 or 2 laps beforehand can get you quite some good time made up.
Yeah, I imagine we'd see maybe Callie Robert Steinzap take a chance there, as all they need is about 1 or 2 seconds to close back up to the race leaders. So I imagine that might be something they go for, as Henry's going to the inside of Samba.
I'm pretty sure Callie Rob will do a soft hard here.
Yeah, that's definitely another viable option. Of course, side by side for the race lead into turn 13. Henry's closed the door for now, but can Samba fight back? He's just going to sit behind for the moment. Running in past Stuart Little. Stuart Little's going off a bit deep. He's managed to keep it on the road, but that was a very tense moment. Luckily, no contact there, though. We'll have to look at the race leaders to see if anybody reacts to standing going into the pits. Looks like Cal says Tari does. So the strategy's starting to kick off here.
Yeah, Cal's is coming out on the mediums as well.
Yeah, so yet to see anybody choose the hard tires as a second stint, but one thing to consider, perhaps with the rain coming, everybody deciding that the mediums can make it to that phase of the race?
No, I did not think about that. That could be 100% with it.
Yeah, certainly not. So, I mean, that's definitely going to be a strategy that comes with a bit of risk. We did see standing, he moved past Mark of Kenya, so he's in a bit of clean air now, which could be crucial. He did manage to come out quite a bit ahead of Calces, so he might be on track to gain a couple of positions here. I'll have to keep an eye on that as the pit stop phase continues. Back to the race lead. It's still Henry and Samba. They've pulled out nearly 2 seconds ahead of Callie Robb. Let's see if any of them duck into the pits this time by. And Henry with a late call. So So Henry does go into the pits, and the race leader.
Let me look. Looks like he's going for the mediums.
That definitely seems to be the popular decision around here. So, let's see where he comes out relative to the Red Bull Ascending, who's coming down the pit straight now. This is going to be a bit closer than I expected in towards turn 1. But I think Henry's just about going to be ahead. You can see just ending pit. McLaren.
Now you see how powerful that undercut was standing 497 just one lap earlier, and he's only 2 seconds off of Henry right now.
Exactly. That's why I'd imagine we'd see. I'd imagine we'd see somewhere else.
Sambo goes in this lap, yeah. I mean, if he doesn't go this lap, it's going to be hard to imagine him not getting passed up there.
Exactly, yeah, he's got to cover that off, and Henry made a very late call, so perhaps Sambo wasn't prepared for that, so he's got to adjust that on the fly.
Great move.
And Henry's got some clean air now, so he's going to be probably pushing as much as possible in this outlap, trying to create that gap.
Let's see what Cali Rob decides to do here also.
Samba is in.
Cali Rob and Samba dive in.
So that's all of the leaders in, except for David. He's going to have to stay out and avoid the double stack. But we're going to track Henry now and see how much of a gap he can gain. Domi staying out.
And Cali Rob's going to two-stop here. He goes for another set of softs.
Interesting. Was not expecting to see that from anybody.
We have our first alternate strategy go over here. Let's see how this goes for him.
Yeah, he's committing to the two-stop. And actually, Henry's cleared the DRS from Samba with the undercut. And look at standing the crib. Wow. He's just behind. Also, Steinzab and Mark of Kenya side by side into turn 2. And Steinzab just about got ahead. Which is absolutely crucial.
Very spicy heading into this pit stop phase.
Yeah, the field's very tightly packed together, and with Cali Rob, you know, one thing that could be a possibility is if that rain hits earlier than expected, it could take this set of soft tires to that phase. Kelsa's on the back of Mark of Kenny now. Mark of Kenny, of course, is still yet to make his stop. Defending to the inside towards turn 12. And he's going to hold on to the position for the time being.
So, according to our tire expert, Honzi, it will be should be a challenging stretch to take the mediums 20 laps. He said surely there'll be at least 70%.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's never going to be. It's never going to be easy, but the two-stop is definitely viable, as you mentioned earlier. Henry does put in the fastest lap of the race, so looking very pacey. We're also tracking this three-way scrap for 13th between Hervina, Yurdi, and Stuart Little that has been continuing for quite some time. As Domi has also gone on to another set of softs. And you know, Dace, that's something that's interesting to me, considering that he was able to take that first stint 12 laps into the race, and he's committed to another set of softs now.
Man, I really... This is one of the moments where I wish we had a driver that was also here for an informant so we could ask him what Jeff's saying.
For sure.
Because, I mean, I don't like to speak too early, but it seems like people are really planning to go on intermediates at the end if we're going for 2 soft sets and then take 7 laps on mediums. That just doesn't make sense, you know?
Exactly, yeah. That's definitely a possibility. Samba does get past Toss for 3rd place. Toss, of course, still yet to pit on that set of softs.
We have Cali Rob and standing going side by side.
Oh. Cali Rob was just on the edge there. There's contact.
Ooh, we have some contact.
How did they make it through there? Look at the switch back to the inside. Runs into the outside.
Hoping there's no side pod damage there.
They're still side by side. They're standing.
No, oh no.
How has he kept that out of the wall? He does go around, but that could have been a lot worse. Very, very impressive save from standing. Not sure if he's picked up any wing damage. Looks to be all clean, but he's going to lose quite a few places there. That was a very intense scrap. Cali Rob does come out in third, but he's lost a bit of time to the leaders. And how about this? Samba is now back within 1 second of Henry ahead. And that's Tom out of the session. I think he's retired in the pit lane, so it should not affect the safety car there, but intensity starting to pick up here a little bit. Domi looking to the outside of Calces through the S's. With that set of soft tires, that is an impressive move.
Now, if Samba doesn't pick up any warnings here, this could just be a game of just staying behind him the whole, behind Henry the rest of the race.
Yeah, that's definitely not a bad option to think of. Henry, of course, with that time penalty already, but I mean, we're still approaching the halfway point in the race. Quite a long way to go. Calces back to the outside of Domi at turn 12. A little bit more contact. Calces making those medium tires work. Covering off the inside.
Okay, so he does have 2 warnings, so he'll have to watch that closely.
Samba, you mean?
Yep.
Oh yeah. It's going to be awfully tough to maintain 15 laps around here without picking up a single warning. But this battle for 5th at the moment is picked up in intensity. And there goes standing up the inside at the final corner. Not a traditional spot, but can he make it stick? Side by side, it's going to be a drag race up to turn 1. I think the Red Bull's going to have it. And there's David going up the inside of Marco Kenya as well, trying to keep up with these guys. And he's gotten it done. It's a very nice racing. All these guys keeping it clean. And Marco Kenya still holding out on those mediums. He's losing quite a few places now. And David, after that overcut, looking very rapid. He's got a bit of traffic to make his way through before he finds himself in clean air, though. Look at this run down the back straight. He's going to easily sail by Calces for 7th. Now he's just got a second up the road towards standing in Domi. That's for 4th and 5th, or 5th and 6th.
Those softs don't seem to be helping Calirab too much since he's lost the DRS of the top 2. It's not really allowing him to make up any time.
Yeah, I was surprised. He's been kind of in no man's land for the moment. He's dropped out, I believe, about a second or 2 since that pit stop phase. But yeah, they're not working quite as well as he would have expected, but still a long ways to go in this stint. There goes David to the inside. The very defensive line from standing in the Red Bull, but David is going to be able to make it work. Can he block the switchback? Oh, a little bit of contact, but David is through. So up into 6th place with another brilliant overtake. So that was a very nice move from David up the inside of turn 1. Now he sets his sights on Domi and the McLaren ahead. But back to the race lead. These two have been swapping places all day long. It looks like Samba's going to have another look in towards turn 12. You can see, you can hear him letting off the gas early. Potentially just wanting to ride behind it, like you mentioned earlier, Days, to just save that ERS. Mark of Kenya is under pressure from Toss now. This is for 9th. Toss on the fresh set of softs. He's going to duck to the inside. Can he make the move stick into turn 12? Yes, he can. Meanwhile, all that standing did get back past David for 6th. So these battles starting to shape place all across the field. Dawson Gaber is now in the back of Calces. That would be for 8th place. So Toss on that fresh set of softs. He also has done a double soft stint, so could be hanging on for the rain as well as he goes to the inside. Side by side, this is going to be tight through the S's. Calces is going to forfeit that position. So he did go for that aggressive undercut, but now he's starting to pay the price. Is Calces. Do a little picking up another 3-second penalty. Samba now does go ahead into the race lead, but Henry is right there. As well as David fighting back in the Mercedes around the outside of standing into the hairpin. Can't make it stick. So those fresh mediums not quite working as well as you would want them to. Also taking a look at the interval from Cali Rob to the race lead. It is now down to about 3 seconds flat, so he is starting to make a little bit of inroads, but not quite as much as he would have liked. And Samba now picking up 3-second penalty, so that has put the leaders back on level playing field with 11 laps to go. So you mentioned earlier, Dace, he did have those 2 warnings, and now he's picked up a 3rd.
And if I'm not mistaken, Henry might have 1 or 2 warnings as well towards the 2nd.
Yeah, so that's going to play in towards Samba's favor. Of course, still a long way to go. Now Toss is on the back of David, going up the inside into turn 11 for 7th place. He's got the move done, and he might still have DRS here, which he will. So that will launch him back towards the standing for 6th. Things starting to settle down a little bit. Cali Rob now down to 2.6 seconds to the guys ahead. And you can see a couple of clouds starting to make their way in. So this race is far from over. Toss now within DRS range of standing.
Let me check Cali Rob's penalty situation. If he can avoid getting this could actually catapult him into P2.
Yeah, I mean, he's only at the moment, 3.4 seconds off the race win, so he doesn't have to have all the pace in the world as Mark of Kenya finally ducks into the pits for a fresh set of softs. This is the closest paddle on track at the moment for 6th place.
And Kalarov has 0 warnings thus far. Very clean for him.
Yeah, that's impressive to make it through, especially considering we're now on lap 18 of this race.
Lord knows that would not be me.
I'd be in the same boat with you. Looks like Toss is...
Jeff in my ear. You are near disqualification.
Yep. That's the one thing you never want to hear Jeff say, but... Toss is going to the outside. Standing is fighting back on the inside of turn 12. The inside is definitely the line to pick. Oh, there's a little contact. Toss does commit to the move and gets it done.
Ooh, and it looks like we're getting raindrops here in Sector 3.
I was going to say, it seems like it's starting to come down a little bit. And you can see the grip is already starting to get a bit tentative. So this is interesting once again. Another twist in this tale. Still a bit too early for Inters, I'd say.
Yeah, very early.
Yep, but nobody...
Ooh, we have Calcis taking an early gamble.
Yeah, he's going to be the first runner into the pits. Might as well take a shot, one of those midfield runners. So this is going to make things interesting. Standing does
The front
stay.
group is pulling away from Calirab fast now.
Yeah, they've made up over a second just that last lap. We'll have to see how this strategy plays out for the leaders. Who's going to make that first lunge?
These old softs cannot feel good in this.
Oh yeah, usually the softs are the better tire in the rain compared to the mediums, but once they start getting up into those high wear ranges, it's not very fun. And you can see Kausas and Weird DV also on the inters. So we'll just keep an eye on their deltas. And we're tracking the leaders as well. The one thing that Henry has an advantage on, he can see what Samba decides to do ahead of him. So he doesn't have to be the first one to make the call. When Henry's actually going to go for a move and thought better of it. You can see the track looks very greasy at the moment.
And both of them diving. Ooh! And Henry rearing Samba.
That was very close. I thought for sure there was going to be contact. You can see the grip has dropped off massively.
There was contact for me.
Ooh. I was surprised the track turned over that quickly. You can see it only just started coming down the last lap, and you can see puddles starting to form already. And there's a yellow flag. I think that is Hervina in the Haas.
Might be the fastest I've seen a track change over so quickly.
I was going to say that was probably not what these guys were expecting, and Samba has pulled out still ahead of Henry.
With this game, it takes at least 2 to 3 laps to where you can actually feel a difference.
Yeah, that's
basically the entire field jumping in now. We'll see how this helps Veer.
Yeah, they might be in line to make up a couple places. You see the DRS disabled message, and speaking of strategies as it plays out here, Kachow going straight from the hards to the intermediates, so that's brought him right back into the race with the points. As he's not
Kaus is jumping up 2, 3 spots.
And of course Mark of Kenya still yet to pit off those softs, so he's going to gain another one as well.
Veered up to P14 as well, so it did
like
work out for those guys a little bit.
That's Yurdi off at the end of exit of turn 1.
And we have Mark of Kenya just drifting around sector 2.
Yeah, that can't be fun, even on fresh softs. This track has gotten very wet.
That might have been a mistake.
I was surprised. He took those mediums 17 laps and then decided to pit for a set of softs. Just that one lap before the rain started coming down, which has not worked out in his favor. And of course, Yurdi out of the session from that incident.
No.
You can see Marcus losing lots of places now. You can see there's quite a lot of spray kicking up. Do you think we're going to get to the full wets here before the end of the race?
I'm not ruling it out, but I would say if it were me in the race, I don't think I would hit again, no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. The Inters, they can survive in much worse conditions than a lot of people than it often seems.
Yeah. They might not feel amazing to drive, but yeah, they can do it.
This track is not looking too clean at the moment. And Samba has opened up more than a 1 second gap to Henry. So perhaps
Calirod's out of a contention for P2 here, even with the penalties.
Yeah, so of course the conditions changing, and that's again playing another swing in into this race. We're still following this three-way battle for 6th that's been brewing for the last few laps. Another yellow
flag.
I think that's Mark of Kenya trying to get into the pit lane.
Disaster. Stuart Little with 15 seconds of penalties. Wow.
Yeah, he's not had the best race so far. He's still running 11th place on track, but he's probably going to lose quite a few places after that. Most of the grid actually with time penalties at the moment. So now with everybody being on inters, we'll switch over to penalties. Of course, DRS now being disabled with the wet weather. It's going to make that much more difficult. But here goes Standing, looking to the inside of the toss towards turn 12. They're going to be so close at the apex. And Standing's going to go through. So a nice move there. We'll have to see if he can clear the gap and start chasing after Domi and McLaren. Look at the lunge up the inside from David. And Toss has now lost 2 places, but he's not going to give up so easy. He's going to fight back through on the inside and get 7th place back, at least for the time being. And he has.
Now this will benefit those higher downforce guys that were running earlier, maybe a little slower in a straight line. Now they're benefiting from it. So if you have new guys really cutting down the delta.
Yeah, especially with the lack of DRS, they're not going to. That straight line speed isn't going to hurt them as much as it would with the DRS. So another thing to play a factor here is we are now under 7 laps to go in this race. It's been entertaining from start to finish. And it's been a duel at the front the entire race long. Henry started to claw back a bit at that time, but he's got a ways to go. .1 seconds is the gap. Things starting to open up across the rest of the field. So we're sticking with the leaders for the time being. And of course, Cali Rob not out of this race yet either. Another thing with the wet rain, it becomes just that much more difficult to keep it within track limits.
Sometimes I find when the track goes over to wet conditions, it's actually a little easier to stay within limits because you're going so much slowly.
That is a good point. Then you don't have to be pushing it quite as much and using up the limits as much as possible. So it's definitely a touch and go thing. It depends on the driving style. Samba made a bit of a mistake there, and Henry's now within half a second. Sector 1 is good. It's very difficult in the wet, and you can see that even these race leaders having troubles. Samba did get
right back up to 8 tenths.
Yeah, but this battle is far from over. It's going to come right down to the wire. Also looking at the other Mercedes of David, he's still scrapping away with standing. These two guys have dropped to toss the caper a little bit from this gap.
And Samba is very low on ERS, so he's running dangerously low. Henry seems to be saving his.
Yeah, Henry's just got a. He's been riding along pretty recently in second for quite a while. He's just got to build up that energy and just keep things clean, and he's going to have a shot at Samba for the race to win, hopefully, as you see Mark of Kenya going a lap down. David is closing up to the back of standing, but without the DRS, just not quite close enough. Stuart Little and Kelsa is starting to scrap away for 10th at the moment. Stuart is not quite close enough. So still a long way to go in this race. On to lap 24 now. 5 full laps of racing to go. And a lot to be decided. Cali Rob, he's right now only 1.5 seconds off of a race win. And of course, Henry and Samba still scrapping away up front. Henry is very close this time. He's within half a second. Again, Samba got a very good launch out of turn 11. It's a lot more difficult to make an overtake stick in the rain than it is in the dry. So that's something to keep a factor in here.
think we'll see Viert jump into the top 10 here after penalties.
Yeah, he's done a very nice job keeping it clean. And that's always going to pay off for you. So you can see quite a few drivers in the midfield with penalties as David and Standing are side by side. Still going side by side to turn 13. They're running off the track a little bit. But Standing's going to hold on. David going to the inside for turn 15 once again. And somehow they make it through with no contact. And Standing has gone through, which has brought Toss right back into this battle. So these drivers starting to realize it's go time now with just 3.5 laps to go. Samba with another time penalty, and that is crucial.
We just need Henry to keep it clean for 3 more laps, and this will be a pretty easy win.
For sure. He can't just relax and take his foot off the gas pedal, though, because Samba has been very quick all night, and doing that might drop him out of range. Stuart Little's out of the race. That is in the pits. We're approaching the last lap for the safety car anyway, but Callie Robb now. Net P2.
With the penalties there wasn't any good results to salvage.
Yeah, it's been a rough race overall for him, but definitely a long way to go in this season, so definitely time to turn it around. But Callie Robb now in very good position. Just 3.6 seconds now off of a potential race win. Things are very tense at the front of the field right now. The top 3 have been the class of the field. Steinzap has put on in a very good race himself, yet 12 seconds behind this group. Got Henry still within the second of Samba, but he knows he doesn't have to push the envelope, so I don't think we'll see anything too daring or adventurous for him in these last 3 laps.
You can't back off too much because it looks like Callie Robb is starting to make some inroads on taking this gap down.
Yeah, I think he's realized now that the wind is definitely on, and he's giving it all he's got in these last 3 laps. And that is the thing with Henry. He can be content to ride behind Samba all he wants, but he's got to keep an eye on his rearview mirrors as well. Intensity starting to pick up a little bit here.
How about these top 3 just leaps and bounds above the rest of the field? I mean, from P3 to P4, it's 13 seconds.
Absolutely. They've been absolutely rapid all night tonight. I don't think any of them have put a foot wrong. And it is shown with the results. One of these guys is going to be a very deserved race winner in just a couple laps. But all to play for here still. And of course, Henry's got to keep it within track limits as well. Another 6 seconds would another 3 seconds would practically guarantee the race win for Callie Robb. There goes David up the inside. It always made contact. Somehow they've kept it on the road. But that was a very late dive up to the inside into turn 12. And these guys have been going at it for quite some time. Very lucky not to have a spin there. We're on to the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix now. Still everything yet to play for. 3.1 seconds the gap between Callie Robb and Henry. He is closing. He might just get there.
He is now, I mean, ooh. He's hovering around that area. It's he's around 3 seconds.
He's flirting with being in range. I mean, in the wet, even just one mistake can make the difference. The one thing that Henry has to his advantage, even without the DRS, he is getting a bit of a slipstream from Samba each time down this long back straight, which could be pulling him even just a little bit more away from Callie Robb. But then, of course, the converse of that is the dirty air through the slow sections.
And all three are dangerously low on ERS.
Yeah, that's a sign of everybody just giving it all they've got here. It's one thing to want to save ERS, but it's another thing to tell these racing drivers, hey, you got to back off and quit pushing. Everybody giving it everything they have. Heading through turn 19 once again towards the final lap of the Grand Prix. Will it be Samba? Will it be Henry? Or will it be Cali Robb? It's all up for grabs here on the final lap. Henry's going to be behind Samba once again, as he has been for the entirety of this stint. Cali Robb is within 3 seconds now. 2.8. So look at the gap shrinking.
And outside of turn 2.
He was a bit tentative there, but he's made up quite a bit of time. He's just got to keep pushing all the way to the checkered flag. This is going to come down right to the final corner. Both of these drivers will be deserved race winners. Henry is right with Samba.
Playing in Cali Robb's favor, these two mixing it up.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Samba puts up a fight here. Henry could try to get through and get some clean air in the final sector. Samba, do they take in the defensive line? They're going to be side by side into turn 12, but actually Henry's going to have the run cleared, and that could be all he needed. So he waited, he bided his time, and now he's striking Cali Robb 3.6 seconds off the race win now. I don't think he's going to be close enough. Henry has cleared Samba now as they head through Sector 3 for the final time. Cali Robb is definitely going to jump Samba, but is he going to be close enough to Henry? He's got to make up quite a bit of time. I don't think he's going to have enough corners. Through turn 19.
This is going to be close.
I think Henry's got it. He's just got to keep it clean. He's losing a bit of time, but I think he's going to have it. Around the final corner, it is going to be Henry to cross the line first, and he should have the race win. Samba second. Cali Robb is third. 4/10 off the race win. Henry coming home with a well-deserved race victory.
What a battle.
That was... I don't think Henry and Samba...
Amazing to see Samba challenged.
Yeah, I don't think they were within more than... or outside of more than 2 seconds apart from each other. Steinzap crosses the line 4th. Then it is Domi to finish 5th. Standing is going to cross the line 6th, but David is going to jump up a couple of positions here. He's going to wind up 6th, Standing 7th. Actually, Toss jumping up to 7th. Kachow, how about that recovery drive, finishing 9th. Calces is going to round out the points paying positions in 10th. And that's Weird out of the final corner to finish 11th. So what an exciting race. Who would be your driver of the day, Dace? That's a lot of good options to pick from there. I personally have to go with Henry. I mean, the race winner as the most important thing here. But Cali Robb kept it clean, did everything he needed to. Very well deserved P2.
I had my mic muted the whole time, I'm sorry.
No worries.
I was talking and I was like, oh, we're just talking at the same time. But not how it went.
No worries.
Well, I would have to say Henry as well. That's what I was saying. I'm not sure where he started, but he definitely... I mean, great patience sitting behind Samba, not getting another penalty. I'm pretty sure he had 2 warnings for at least half of that, or the second half of that race.
For sure, that was very exciting to watch. Very tense the entire time, but well deserved to Henry, and that is a very good race win for him. So we'll take a look at the final finishing results. It is Henry with the race win, Cali Robb second, Samba rounding out the podium. Then it's Steinzap in 4th, Domi is 5th. David comes home in 6th with a nice scrap all race long with Standing. Toss the Caber 7th. Standing does end up 8th. Then it's Kachow with a recovery drive from that drive through to take 9th. 10th place for Calces. Weird DV 11th. Hervina 12th. Mr. Wu 13th. Diagonal is 14th. It's Marca Kenya 15th. Mergenti 16th, and Stuart Little, Yurdi, Tom, and Honzi, who did not finish. So, any last words before we wrap up the stream here?
Nope. You pretty much took it off from there.
Alright, so thanks everybody for tuning in. This has been NRL Season 6, Round 6 from the United States Grand Prix. We'll see you later.